So back at it again. This what we doing. So back at it again. This what we doing. Lonzo, what's going on, man? I might even send you the link. I might be on here for a little bit. I'll send you the link so you can jump up here. We have a combo about this. So now we got lists out here, and yeah, I'm gonna keep this along the line with the money, cause the list is these lists are getting kind of crazy. So what's going on, Toya? I'm gonna keep this along the line with the money because I try to stay away from that gender war conversation. But this is getting very emotional. I talk about the feelings and the emotions because you ain't gonna spend your money right if you get too emotionally invested in some stuff. All right, so seeing the list came out about places that women don't want to go eat at, and one of my friends, he kind of did one. It was crazy. Oh no, you good, you good. Hey, you here, you live. That's all. That's all. That's all. Don't worry about that. Hey, that's how it is in the morning. Sometimes you need to get it on out. Yeah, yo. But we're gonna go through this. So as it stands, you know, it's quite funny how this list is starting to be a big thing, but then it's actually putting other people in a bind to where now only are the men having the women having a list, the men got a list now. And that's gonna be funny. I mean, genuinely, you had I know one guy had a list and he said, well, if it's certain places you can't go and there's certain type of standards in which, you don't want to deal with certain men, now they got a list saying women, attitudes, you know, women with kids. Like it goes into another, whole nother spiraling thing. But that's the point. You get emotions, get behind this stuff. And the crazy thing is, like I told my son, my oldest son, he's about 24, and I always tell him, I said, man, I know it's gonna be hard for you to get married in this generation, dude. I know it's gonna be hard for you to get married in this generation, simply because you know you're gonna have to get a more mature woman, and I believe Can't Stop, Won't Stop, uh, Walking, Mowing. Did he got trucking on there? He got a whole bunch of names he added to his YouTube tag now. But Can't Stop, Walking, and everything else. But the point of reference is this: he was, basically breaking down the situation about how women and men have these standards and how the family structure to where you know emotionally men and women should be getting coaching from their parents, or family members. And basically I explained to him, man, nowadays, especially during the millennial time when I was growing up, you had a lot of friends that influence other friends to kind of pick and deal with mates, um how to pick a certain type of woman, you know, um, your scale, you know. That's the thing, when it come down to it, a lot of times the size of a woman, who justifies what size a woman should be, and things of that nature. And it boils down to the person, you know. Everybody doesn't like slim women. Most guys like, plus size women, to a degree. A lot of times you get all this stuff about, oh man, I don't like a big woman. And like I said on Swoop Like Me channel, you hear so many guys talking about how they don't like bigger women. But then you look around and you see so many big women that have kids. So who having kids with these women? So that remains to be the $1 million question. When they say they don't like big women. But overall, you know, get back on this money thing. We're gonna talk about it from a money standpoint. So going on dates requires what's going on, Doctor Dumbo. I see you watching from the clouds. You had to drop on that one. Yeah, I always I always have that conversation with people, and I tell them they say that guys don't like big women, but I I know a big woman now. She has about, well, you say big, plus size, whatever the dramatically, grammatically correct. But this woman, she got about 5 kids. I know a lady that's slim. She's a um a personal trainer. She has 11 kids. 11 kids and still not married. Personal trainer. What's going on, sweet thumb? This lady has 11 kids. She's slim, still not married. I know a so-called plus size, or whatever. Just a big girl. She has 7 kids. She's married. I think she got married after the third child. The 2 kids were by somebody else, and then the other kids she obtained during her marriage. The other 5 kids she had. But I mean, it's crazy. We have these things. Oh, big girls. I don't know. I don't know. I guess we living on different sides of the United States, or different playing fields, or different thoughts of, because like like I said, I'm trying to stay away from gender talk. I'm trying to talk about it from a money standpoint, but you know, the math not mathing in my opinion. Because honestly speaking, going to a restaurant, um, I was on a breakdown yesterday listening to them, and they was talking about I think who was it? Sister George said she ended up her first date with Carolyn was at um a chain restaurant, and he was a gentleman paying and all that stuff too. And a lot of people, I know the first time I met my wife, we went to Texas Roadhouse. It wasn't a date that we actually our first uh well, we just hung out, so it wasn't really a date. It was just us hanging because we was actually coming in as friends. This was before the date. So I can't even really go back to when did we actually start dating. What was the first restaurant we went to? But I know the first time we ever hung out outside of just hanging out with my cousin was at a pool hall. Got some wings, got some wings and fries. I got me a beer. She got her like a water or tea, and we just sat there and talked. I know we can't escape it, man. Hey, it draws you back in. But going into that, like now we're putting the standard on. First of all, the man. This is the crazy part about this. The standard is the man is supposed to take the woman out, and he literally chooses where to take the woman on the date because, in all honesty, the man is paying. So majority of this has always been the standard. The man goes, takes the woman out on a date. He's paying, so he's taking her to a nice restaurant. And you would get all these old stories how a guy looks at the menu because he's taking her to this fancy restaurant. Now he's looking at the menu and counting his pocket to make sure he can afford it. That was always the golden standard upon being in a relationship like that. So you would always make sure you have enough money for the date, you know, and if it gets too expensive, you kind of tend to drink water while you look at her eat, or you get an appetizer and let her just pig out. That was the standard because in all, what's going on, boss lady Denise? When it comes down to it, like I said, the guy always paid for the food, so the guy typically always found somewhere to take the woman to go eat. Now it's starting to be a standard is like you got to spend at least $400 on the date, on the first date. That's starting to be pushed as a standard. The standard is not now. It's not taking a female to a chain restaurant. And it was funny. I was on Facebook. I think I'm gonna screenshot that post and put it on my community wall. But I got a friend from high school I knew, and she's married, and she posted the list on her Facebook and was like, "This is why y'all women not married." She said, I mean, she said, "This is why y'all women are single." Like they literally worrying about the wrong thing, you know. And I was laughing. She was like, her first date with her man was, I think, I forgot what it was, but she said she ended up taking him to a church function. And that was one of the things on the list. Don't take them to no church function, you know. Then the women, no more Netflix and chill. But I mean, I wouldn't want to go to nobody's house after first meeting them anyway. That's even like me as a man. I didn't want to go to female's house on no first date, you know, because what if it's something like a setup? Like, you know, but depending on the woman you get, you shouldn't be worried about it. But it's on like that 50-50 thing nowadays. Cause when around the time I was dating, it was like a 50-50 thing because I was seeing a lot of nice women setting up good dudes because you had a little money. I didn't even have a lot of money, but the point of it was that was starting to be the norm as I was, going around. So, hey, dude had a little money, he might get knocked over the head for about a couple of hundred. And it wasn't even to the point that I was out there balling. I got a pocket full of money. I didn't dress the part like, I was, large amount of money, but it was always that thing that people have in the back of their head, especially as men. I don't know about all men. It's not even a thing that I would date a woman that would knock me over the head, but you never take out the possibility that things could happen, you know. And even the standard, with this listing, and now the men are making the list, it's gonna get ugly. Because like I said, the standard always was that a man counts his money, he takes his woman out on a date, and he's taking her somewhere that he can afford, that's nice. And now Cheesecake Factory is not a nice restaurant. I even seen a guy put, if that's the case, you can't go to Roof Chris. Roof Chris is a chain restaurant, and Roof Chris, I think just alone, you buy the sides separate from the entree. All this stuff is separate. I think my friend, I think Lonzo talked about it, how, he spent like two something. And that was like good for two people. I think one of my friends went to Root Chris. He got the tomahawk. That's about 150, 175 just for the tomahawk steak. And then he spent what was it? $25 for a load of potato, 20 something for a salad. That's already hitting 220 right there. And then what was he got? Some shrimp. That was what, another 40, $50. And that was just for him. So you're looking at 250 just for him alone. Then he had his wife with him. He said I think they got a drink too, so they spent like close to five something. Yeah. Hey, Roof Chris is a chain restaurant. You have what is the other big establishment everybody likes to go to? I don't know if it's worldwide. I know Carrabba's is pretty big. Olive Garden. Olive Garden is a low key restaurant type environment, and it's not packed like Red Lobster, and people still have their ways. It's just when it comes down to it, spending that money on a first date, so much money. I mean, granted that I think Concrete Rose talking about it. The woman likes Mexican food. Take her to a nice small restaurant, like a home style restaurant, nothing that's chain. You know, don't take her to a Willie's or a Southwest Grill or something like that. Franchised it out, but a small like restaurant. You know, when it comes down to it, you have a lot of people that when they get into these restaurants, they, they want to like feel a certain type of way, in my opinion. That's how they push it. And they don't get that feeling from the chain restaurants. I'm like, literally it's just somewhere to eat. You know, some people would be happy just going to uh McDonald's and just getting a burger and fry, just sitting there and talk. You know, like more and more and more people are putting more focus on the look of things in their relationship versus what needs to be focused on, and that's mainly the structure. You know, the structure in which the man and the woman are to be together, and more seeping off of social media into real life regarding the look and the fame. You know, you have these channels that people are married and they're married for the look. It's one channel, I can't remember this name. They have set of twins. I think they have two sets of twins. It's something Twins of Atlanta, something I forgot. But in my opinion, it's almost like Shani was going on this. This couple is married just for the fame. They have kids, and I'm talking about the man. His YouTube is not so well. He started doing what is it, more of a gospel type thing, but then he has the family channel. Then his wife have her own channel. His wife has about 70,000 followers. I think he only got about 5,000. Their family channel has about 40 to 50. And it's more of the look. Like a lot of people are trying to project, this whole look thing with each other. And that's the thing that kills people. Instead of you actually getting into a situation where you're loving someone, you're being there for them, you're more or less drawn into this look and this image piece. Like people are getting married for images now. They're not getting married to say, man, I got a good man, I got a good wife. You're getting married for the image of, this person has money, they have status. And you literally sit there like I was listening to this one pastor, and he was saying, you're not gonna find nobody whole. When you get married, you're that person should be coming to you almost essentially like just mediocre and pieces, and you kind of engage to put them together and structure things to make them whole, because other than that you're essentially trying to get somebody together. If someone's already put together and they're already established, how are you going to implement yourself into their already structure? They already have a sound foundation, and let's say you have a small gap, a crack in the wall in the building. You're trying to implement yourself into that small crack because of the foundation is built. That's the whole purpose of the house being built. You starting with the foundation, and the woman and the man are building that house into a home. They're putting the family in there, the things, the stuff that they need. If you come to a man or a woman that has that house already built, they have all their cars, all the nice cars and dream cars they want, they have the money, successful job. How you implementing yourself into that situation? Do they actually need you? Do they actually want you? Or just something, just something that they're missing, a piece that they can implement, and if the piece don't fit, sling it out, throw another piece in. That's the crazy part, you know. And you growing with somebody, getting married, both of y'all working together, you get to a situation to say, man, started with nothing, she started with nothing, or we had a little money and made it work. Most of the time, that's how the relationship gets established, and they do great with each other. But you get this guy who's high end earner, and then both of y'all are high end earners. Y'all are almost competing, and it gets to a point to where both of y'all got money, both of y'all competing. You really don't need each other. You're doing it for the look. It's basically all for the look. This vanity that we face right now. I have money, you have money. We could be a power couple. Everybody wants to be the Jay-Z and Beyonce power couple. Why not be the grandma and granddad power couple that you seen? the mother and the father power couple that you've seen in your life. We always try to compare things to celebrities, but in actuality, how are we comparing ourselves so much to celebrities? But celebrities are mere mortal people just like us. They found a way to make a little money, to get notoriety, and they put themselves on the map. Yeah, Barack and Michelle. I mean, when it come down to it, these power couple things, even to a degree, we push ourselves to image and kind of modern ourselves to be uh, I don't even want to go down that rabbit hole. I was gonna say something, but other than that, man, like I say with the list, it's kind of sketchy, and it's gonna get worse because nowadays the vanity of the women and the men, especially the women, like I said, trying to stay away from this gender talk, but this list, and I'm gonna end with this. This is the crazy part. I seen this guy. He was saying, he said, as me as a good man, I dress different than other men. I look different. I act different. So you can justify a good guy from a bad guy. When you come down with the women, you can't really justify it because most of the women look the same, dress the same to a degree. Most, not speaking in absolutes, but when you're in the same circles and hang around, it's kind of harder to weed through there and try to find a diamond in the rough. you know, Especially when a woman doesn't talk as much. And that's the thing nowadays I've noticed. A lot of women are approaching guys. They make this whole thing to where women shouldn't approach guys, but a good woman, she knows like, hey, I'm not gonna let this guy get away. You know how many women approach me and I tell them I'm married and they be like, I knew it. I knew it. They was like, man, as good as you is, I know you had to be married. What's going on, Nikki? But to a degree, I got to get off here because I got another one supposed to be coming up. I might can extend it out. It's just a little video I had put up. Yeah, it looks like I might have to drop down from here. GG, what's going on? Ted, Gold P, what's going on? Yeah, I guess it look like I'm gonna have two videos running at the same time. But like I said, the crazy part is this, man. Just like with this video, I mean, with this list coming out, it's so many people that's kind of into this list thing. And like I said, far as the man has always been the one who says, I'm taking a woman out on a date. I'm counting my pockets because I gotta pay for the date. I might don't have Red Lobster pay. I might only have, you know, a little money to take you to Steak and Shake. You know, that's the thing. Like the coffee date now, everybody's talking about coffee dates. Women don't like the coffee dates. If I don't have a lot of money, why can't I take you on a coffee date? A coffee date not good, you know. If I have a little money and I want to take you to a Roof Chris, but because it's a chain restaurant, you don't want to go there. Whatever happened to it's the thought that counts. That's the thing that kills me now. It's the thought that counts. Cause I didn't have to take you anywhere. I didn't even have to try to ask you out on a date. But because I wanted to get to know you better, I want to establish a relationship. I told you about the situation where I took someone on a date before and they actually put their finger in the food. It was cold and was like, "Man, I'm not eating this. It's cold. Take this back." Like just crazy on the waiter. That ruined the whole date. I ain't even want to. I didn't want to have no more conversation with that woman because to me, if you're being that disrespectful to the waitress that comes and give us our food, you will show your face with me like that one day, and I'm not I'm not I'm not for it. We have these situations where we go just back and forth with people, back and forth with people over just. I'm like, honestly speaking, why? You know, you go into a relationship thinking that hey man, I'm going in a relationship to get to know this woman. I'm going on a date to get to know this woman. I'm going on a date to know some things about her. But now she don't even want to go on the date because she think you're cheap. Like, who made the standard on spending $300 on the first date? What made that standard? Yeah, that's the biggest thing with gratuity, man. Like the crazy part when you're paying for the meal, then adding everything else on top of the line, man. Like it's so much. You literally gonna have to. Let's say you do a $300 meal, then you turn around add the tipping. What's a good tip for a $300 meal? 10%? What about $30? I would do a little more. It was crazy. We went out to eat. I think for my wife's birthday. Everybody try to do it big. Like I don't really care too much about the birthday thing, but my wife ended up, like doing it for her birthday. Then everybody took her out. And my birthday, me and my wife just, mainly spent time together, this and that. But went out for my wife's birthday because the women like that whole ambiance thing, and I would take her out, but more or less just with everybody throwing a party. I'm kind of past that. It's like not even a thing for me if it happens, but not really a thing. But we went out and we went to a hibachi restaurant, and I think the her father, her stepfather paid for her, and me and my son paid for each of the twins. My son paid for one twin, I paid for the other twin and stuff, and with my oldest son. And the crazy thing came up to just me and my son alone. When I think I got one beer, it came up to $75 for just me and my son, and I got one beer. It was $75. I think the meal was because of the entertainment, and they had the gratuity tax. It was like 60. I think it was like 60 some bucks. 60. I think it came out to 15. So it was. I know it was $15 added for the gratuity tax. 15 $15 added. So it came up to 70, 78 or something. So basically when it all boils down, like I was telling my wife, I was like, that ain't bad. You know, it's like 60 something, 63. It ain't bad. And she was like, yeah. I still end up giving the chef $40 on top of, the servers that served us, the gratuity taxes in there. I gave the chef $40 because they have to split the tip. That's when they had that tax. A lot of times when they do that, because even when me and my wife went to a buffet and I gave the guy I think a $10 tip. The meal I think at the buffet was like 32 or something like that. So I left a $10 tip. He took the tip and put it in a bucket. He couldn't even take the tip, put it in his pocket. He had to put it in the tip jar, and they literally all the waitress had to share tips. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. And I always tip. Like I said, I tipped the guy at the hibachi place. I tipped him $40 on top of the other 15. And everybody was like, oh man, we're not tipping. You don't have to tip. They already do 18% gratuity tax. I'm like, this is not just the waitress actually serving us and stuff like that. I understand that tip. You're talking about the tip in which the chef is putting on the show. Like, this is more. So, I think it was worthy more of a tip. And everybody's like, oh man, why are you tipping them more? I was like, because I want to, you know? And that's always like the thing, it was the guy I was going to get my tires changed. I think I told this story one time before. Going to get my tires changed, and this guy ended up, he worked at a bar, and some baseball player came there. Baseball player gave him a $10,000 tip. And he was like, "Oh man, oh that's crazy." I think the baseball player say he spent um what was it, about 25 or 30,000 in the club. Like he was buying bottles. He bought a whole bunch of sections and just made everybody come up in the section because the sections were all empty because hey, those things sometimes get expensive in certain clubs. You know, you got some sections. Hey, easy 500 for the section, and you gotta buy a bottle. You got some clubs where the section is $100, but you still gotta buy a hundred some dollar, $150 bottle or more. You know, and then you got some of them to where it's like, man, if you can't really like afford it, you can't. You don't need to be over there. Yeah, yeah, man. Like when it came down to that, I was like 10,000. He's like, yeah. And so the club owner told this guy, you gotta take that 10,000 and share it with all the other, hosts and waiters that, served in those areas. And he was like, no, the guy gave it to me. He said, man, if you don't share that with everybody, I can't let you work in no more. So he took that 10,000 and left. And it was crazy. But that's how some companies do with those tips. But get back into it though. I mean, it's your money, man. Like literally, the woman should be happy that this guy's taking her out on a date. Like, what are you going on a date for? The food or the kind of thing of the restaurant? Or are you going on a date to get to know the guy? Because I think we kind of getting a little bit away from what the date is actually for. No, no, professor. And when it comes down to it, man, like we literally have problems on the date. Like, what are we actually going on a date for? What are we going on a date for? Is it the date just to, you know, get into a situation to say, hey, I went to this nice restaurant? Or is the date supposed to be to get to know that person? Now when the guys start making their list and they say, well, if I go on a date with a woman, she can't wear a wig. She can't wear a wig. And the women gonna be like, oh no. And see, like I said, it goes back and forth. It's like tit for tat. If I can't take you to a chain restaurant, you can't wear certain things on a date. Spandex are in now. I mean, a lot of young women are wearing spandex. You know, how many women wear dress now? You know, I, I go to UGA almost every day. I can't tell you how many uh what not spandex, but they call them tights. Wear tights everywhere. Everywhere you go, everybody look like they're going to work out. But when it comes down to it, hey, like I said, that date is supposed to be for you to get to know the person, not to relate to the food. And you want to go to the chef and talk to the chef. You want to go to a established restaurant that's deemed this so high and this. No, you're there. strictly upon getting to know this person. I don't see how getting to know them through the rate of the menu or how expensive or how um homey or like traditional the restaurant is, and it not being chained for you to know this person. Like, I understand putting thought into the restaurant, but overall, hey, Alonzo, just don't even talk to Go P. He's not even here. I'm about to time him out. But when it comes down to it, man, it's intent. Yeah, your thought is to get to know this person in the marriage process, not to sit here and say, well, this guy took me to a restaurant that was, mom and pop, and he spent $400. Remember, because that's the golden rule now. They're making it the golden rule that a man has to spend $400 on a date, or it's not considered a date. A man has to put thought into taking a woman to a restaurant, and it can't be a chain. So where are we gonna go? You know, most of these places are chain restaurants. Then I can't take you to my house and cook for you. You know, I, what I gotta do? Take you to a food truck? I know that's out the question. Like, that's out the question. That's out the question. Going to a food truck. That's out the question. Going to a food truck. So where are we going? What's the difference? Yeah, real simple. You know, the amount of money I'm taking you out to impress you, I could put that money into something. You know, I can invest into something. Hey, $400 on that date, I go take that $400 and go put it on the stock. Take that $400 and go pay a bill. If I got to spend $400 to get to know you, is that money well spent? Well, it's not about the money; it's the experience in it. It's like, that's why I say I try to stay away from this conversation and focus more on money, and a lot of times in people's feelings. And this is along the line with feelings, but it's tipping the line with that gender talk. But overall, man, yeah, even you can actually get a personal chef roughly about, I think it depends on their expense, and you buying the food for about 200 200 to 200 to something like that an hour, you know. But getting that personal chef and having that experience, where y'all gonna have it at? You got to rent a place because you can't go to her house and she can't come to your house. That was on the list. You can't go to each other's place. So now you got to rent out a place. Then that's gonna be a thing, you know. So at the end of the day, I'm just skipping over that comment right there. But at the end of the day, man, hey, like, you literally, yeah, it's getting to a point where it's getting ridiculous. I appreciate it. Yeah, like I said, I don't promote my channel too much. If it grows, it grows. If it don't, you know, this is not the conversation for everybody. Focusing, talking on the money aspect, and emotionally getting stable. A lot of people are up and down with this, but like I say, overall, spending that much money on the first date, $400, and then the women having a list of saying that they don't want to go to these chain restaurants. Are they into the man, or are they into the look and the ambiance? Because, like I said, social media has pushed so many people to a point where the look is more important than the real. We look like millionaires, but we're not millionaires. You know how many people stand in front of cars taking pictures and it's not their car? I see so many videos like that, whether it be, fake or true, just for the but you see them in real life. I've seen people in real life stand in front of nice cars and take pictures. They don't even have to act like it's their car, but the point of it is, it's a nice car. I've stopped and took pictures of nice cars and posted, man, this is a nice car. I mean, but we going up and down. Like I said, overall, realizing, are you for a relationship with this man or what this man can produce to make you look good? You know, I was having a conversation with my wife, and this is kind of going into that too, where we were having a conversation talking about the a man that was cheating, and she was saying, well, he's not a good man because he cheats. So how can he set an example for his son to be a good man and he cheats on his wife? And I was like, that's true. But at the same time, it doesn't take away from him being a man. If he teaches his son to have better morals and principles than him, then he should still be the leader of his household. Otherwise, the woman should just leave. Why a woman have to stay in a relationship with a man that cheats? It's on her. As long as she stay there, the man is going to keep doing what he's doing. Going on. But overall, like I said, that list thing is getting to a point where you're stirring away from the list. I mean, you're stirring away from the point of trying to get to know someone to love them or establish a relationship and focus more on the look and the food. Because back in the day, I've heard men and women going on dates. They did picnic. You know, first date was a car date where you were sitting in the car and you sit there and you would have a relationship in the car. Like there was no, man, we're gonna go to this restaurant because back in the day in certain places you couldn't go to restaurants. It was whites only. So you would go to this person's house on the first date, and the parents would cook. But okay, that's out the question. But the point of it was they would have. I ain't gonna put. But they would have dates to where they literally would just. I know I was talking to somebody. And they were saying that they husband and wife one time they sat in the car and split an egg sandwich together. I said, huh? Like, yeah, man, we just went and hung out, took an egg sandwich, split it, like it cut it in half, and we sat in the car and talking, ate an egg sandwich. Egg sandwich. That's a no no in 2023. Like an egg, like just the foolishness. Like I said, we're staying a lot of these standards that these men and women are putting out here. You're getting away from the actual relationship and getting more towards the look of things, like the aesthetics. Like I said, how can you establish a relationship when your main focus is all on how good the place is and the food? I mean, granted, a man should do some type of research and take someone to a restaurant, especially that woman that the restaurant is, of good quality and it tastes good, because at the same time you're eating there too. What's the standard in that? You're eating there too, so you should be able to take this woman to a nice restaurant because you're eating there too and it's good. But overall, man, like I said, it's going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. The woman wants you to take her to this nice restaurant and she wants you to spend $400 on this date. What man has the budget for that? And if he do have the budget for that, why should he spend that much money? I don't even know you. I mean, honestly speaking, in my opinion, less than $100 should be good on the first date. That includes everything. You can go and get something to eat, about 25 to $50 a plate, and drinks if you want to. Sit there. $100 is good enough. Let's say if you want to go to go to the movies and get something to eat. I say at least less than $200. Because you might want to grab popcorn and that stuff is expensive. My thing is 150. I mean, personally, I wouldn't even go over $100 on the first date. We go into the movies. Movie tickets are like $20. That's 40. Popcorn and a drink. We'll get one big popcorn, share a drink or some whatever stuff that comes along with it. You looking at I say about $65 right there, almost 70. Then go grab something to eat. Both of us, get 25, $30 plates and everything. That's another 60. So in all, let's say with the movies and the food, at least about 150, 160. Yeah, I mean, but at the same time, man, it comes to a point like I don't see the need to spend all that money, and you're trying to establish a relationship with somebody that you're going to spend the rest of your life with, or try to get to a standpoint in which y'all can communicate well. That first date is always up from there. If it's up, then it's up. That's the only place you can go from here. It's up. You can't do anything else but just go up. I'm like, if I do 400 on the first date, I'm gonna be chasing like the old people call chasing a high. I'm gonna be chasing that high for the remainder because that's the only thing that you can do. When it comes down to it, if you're spending four on that first date, you're gonna spend 5 or 6 on the next date. And then what are we gonna be doing? Spending $800 on dates? You know, take you to a 12-star restaurant. Is there even a 12-star restaurant to take a woman to? You gotta find it. You know, but at the same time, I mean, it's to a point that where man, it's crazy. Why I gotta spend 400? Like this is the standard now. $400 on the first date. Can't go to a chain restaurant. Like I told my son, I was like, man, it's gonna be hard for you to find a wife because my son is laid back. Older son is laid back. My younger boys, they're 12, man. They're gonna be going through the ringers. Like you you're gonna have to be financially stable just to go on a date. Like you're gonna have to be wealthy to go on to that. Richer, everybody know the difference between rich and wealthy. Rich is like cash money. Wealthy is way more. Yeah, sweet. Yeah, your first date you got to go to Paris. Like that's the only way to top it. You know, first date, man. We going to we going to Jamaica. That's what I should did on my first date with my wife. Told her pack her bag for the weekend. Friday I'm gonna pick you up. Have 2 days of clothes. And on our first date, we going to Jamaica. That's where you from, right? Going to Jamaica. Like that's crazy. Like I don't get it. Like and it's steady being pushed on a lot of the youth in the society. Like this is what we need. All right, yeah. But you get up here, I'm gonna go ahead and jump off after this because I've been on here a little bit too longer than I want. But yeah, man, it's like, hey, it's getting crazy. And Gold Professor, you're not coming up. I know you can't come up, so I ain't letting you up anyway. But yeah, man, I mean, it's getting crazy, and that's the thing. Like I said, you got spending 400 on the first date. You got can't go to a chain restaurant. You literally got like what's the next step? Like how are we gonna top it? Is Lonzo? I see him up. Oh dang. You got a connection
Oh,
kinda in
my
and out.
own trying to get service. All right, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
All right,
Yeah, some
cool.
dumb it is sometimes in the rough. But it's gonna be hard for people to find them through the mess. But go ahead, Lonzo.
So here's the thing. Number one, the money you spend on a date should not be the barometer of a good date. I think Blues Clues was saying that. She also said some valuable things that I think that we're missing. So the first date isn't just, hey, we're going out for a meal, right? I think what happened is people misconstrued, number one, what courting is, and number two, what dating is, right? So going out on a date, like, because the Cheesecake Factory girl was like, oh, well, I'm used to being courted. You're being courted if the dude's trying to marry you. So that's when I take you to the expensive restaurant to propose to you or something. Like you said, it gets bigger. So when we first start, the first date shouldn't just be we're going out to dinner. You want to do it on the weekend where y'all both got a full free day. Get up, go to a little diner, go to breakfast because you want to get to know this person. The easiest way to get to know a person is to spend a substantial amount of time with them. So instead of saying we're going to go on 16 dates, you go on the first date. The first date is an all day event. You do a multitude of things. So that's what, unfortunately, the women are missing when they're like, oh, we want you to put some thought into it. Yeah, put some thought into it. But it ain't, I just got to think of what's the most expensive place we could get a piece of steak that's put on the damn hot plate because that's all Ruth Chris is, and that's a chain anyway. But we got to think about, okay, what is this experience? And then as men, right, you want to be realizing if this woman is a good steward of money. If she's like, listen, I want you to spend $400 or $500 on a first date on somebody you ain't even met, you don't know if you like me, you don't know if I'm gonna try and cut you when we first, so you don't know if I stink, right? But that woman, if you were to get into a relationship with her, is probably going to do something stupid like drop a bunch of money with DJ Envy and Caesar Pena, right? so, so those are things that you want to look, because if we're dating and courting, we should be dating and courting with intention. So those are little things that as men look out for. Okay, I'll even take you out for this date. But I want to mention something that Dr. Dunbar mentioned, and a lot of men go through this, where women will say, "Hey, you know, um, this is TGI Fridays. How dare you take me to TGI Fridays?" And what women have to realize is what value do you have? Because do somebody who looks like this? Well, Tupac once said, "Yes, I'm getting the JJ, but you're getting penis." So, don't act like it's a task for you to receive this. You enjoy our encounter too. And then women would say, well, you're paying for my time. Yes, but my time is valuable too. That's how I'm able to afford paying for this experience. So, like she said, it's your money, treat it as
You
such.
chopping up.
But when you do a date, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was saying you chopping up a little bit. You good now.
When you do a date. So do the whole, like me and my wife, when we went on our first date, it was an all day thing. I got up early in the morning, caught the train to New York, and then I got to her house, and then we went out. I don't even remember where we went first, but we went. Well, she took me across New York City because I had never been. So she took me to like the Empire State Building and all that stuff. Then we went and got something for lunch. Then we went to the movies. Then we went back to her house because she cooked for me. And then you know, lo and behold, we're married. Right? But we spent the entire day together, right? And so that made us realize, okay, you know what? I can't have a second date. And you know what? I wonder now, I want to ask them more stuff about them. But how many people get into a relationship with a person, a whole relationship, and they don't even know this dude's favorite color, this chick's favorite color? They know that asset though. Right? They
Yeah, I
know he
mean,
spent $400 to meet 40 oysters.
you're chopping up again.
Then with oyster girl,
You're
them
chopping. You're still
oysters.
chopping.
I'm chopping.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, just getting into it, man. It's like crazy for me. Like I'm looking at this, like I can't take this woman on a date like this. Spend all this money just to, you know, the woman don't even like me. And you literally have women that have dudes that come pick them up every other day or almost every day for dates. I knew, yeah, the Matrix hard. I've known women that go on dates to strictly just be for food dates only. They don't want no relationship. I knew a woman that went on a date with this guy for a whole year and never gave him none. And the relationship wasn't going anywhere. Then it was crazy because she would ask her friends like what restaurants that they want to try, and she'll go there, try the food, order some stuff, and then bring some back to let them try it. Like that's how it was because the guy was just spending money. He was trying to establish a relationship, but she wasn't even interested in him. They was going together. They was messing around for a year, and she had other dudes on the side, and end up finally giving him some. And she said it was on accident. And I was like, dang.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, like that's how crazy it gets. And a lot of these women will sit there and just steady and steady and steady, deal with a guy only for the look. Look where he's taking me. Like I think I seen that one post where the guy had took this guy planned the perfect first date or whatever date it was. He took on a helicopter ride. She scribbled over his face. When they ate at the restaurant, she had him sitting on the other side and she took a picture with the camera down so it wouldn't catch his face. But you see his watch, nice watch at the table. Then they went somewhere else and did something else. And it was to the point where I was like, man, like, dude, what's going on with like this guy's in all these pictures, but man, I think his internet's messing up bad. I'm about to jump off here anyway. Yeah, yeah, like the foodie calls, man. That's it'll always be like that. And then it makes it bad for the good woman because the good woman that actually wants a relationship, that actually want to be with a man, she's not gonna be able to find that type of man because that man is like, I'm done with women. I'm ready to be a bad boy. I'm literally ready to. Hey man, what's going on, Gold Professor? Hey man, you say the wrong thing. I got my finger on the trigger right now, dropping you down. Finger on the trigger.
What's with all the aggression, brother?
Hey, apply some discipline.
What the-
Apply some discipline. Ain't you the ain't you the creator of the nine laws of self governance? Can can you apply some discipline up here? You know,
what's with all the aggression, brother?
do
You know,
you do you know your worth? Do you know who you are?
hey man, hey, why you talking to me like that, man? Why you?
The student has become the teacher. Where's your discipline?
Hey, why are you stressing me, brother? Come on, man. W- Why you talking to me like that, nephew?
Cause I already know the nonsense is about to come. So hey, this is when I told you, got my finger on the trigger, man. Hey, I'm about to I'm about to do your outro. It's time to go. It's time to go.
Hey,
Go ahead. Go ahead, man. What you got to say?
what I do to you, brother?
It ain't what you do, it's about what you gonna say.
What the- Uh, hey, hey, man. Uh, why I gotta bring a problem when I say something?
Hey
Come on,
man,
man.
go
Huh?
go. What you got to say? What you got? Let me see. Make sure I got my finger on the trigger. Go ahead. Go ahead. That's right here. See how easy that is? Yeah, right on the trigger, man. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Good. Hey,
It's,
man. I
it's a
just came
family.
up.
It's a family friendly channel over
It's
here.
a, it's a, it's a family friendly channel.
Yeah, it's PG-13 over here. What you got to say?
Hey, man. Look, you know, if I take a broad out, okay, I know I'm already starting.
Told you, man. Hey, you been warned, dog. I
Okay,
know you.
okay, okay, okay,
Hey,
okay,
come on,
okay,
Mister No. Come on, Mister
okay.
No.
If I take a woman out, is that better? Is that better, sir?
Clean it up. Clean it up.
Let me clean it up. I'm gonna I'm gonna put on my blue shoes, go to the dock, and work with you over there. She gonna enjoy that work.
Hey, man, ain't you supposed to be at work? What you in the supply closet over there on the phone?
I'm gone, brother. I just came up
Nigga,
here to mess
I
with you.
gotta go. I gotta go anyway. Let me go on and kick you off. But man, hey, I already finger on the trigger. I already know. Yeah, when it comes down to it, hey, you right, April Showers. It's not. I don't speak on absolute, and a lot of people don't look at absolute, but to a degree, it's starting to be the majority. So that's why a lot of people, are more kind of upset about the issues between the man and woman, the whole gender war thing, because it's starting to be the majority. You know, like I said earlier, it's sometimes to where you can't really pick the good woman from the bad woman because they're all in the same groups. They all dress the same. To a degree, you have a difference in speech and they have a difference in feelings, but you know, you have to actually get to know somebody to actually know that they're sincere and a good person. And how can you notice that you're, getting to know them when it's a situation? What's going on,
Yeah.
Doctor?
Hey, Chief. Hey, man. I just want to come up real quick.
Okay.
Uh, this relationship stuff, this foolishness, get we can't get away from it, man. But I think there are a lot of peaceful moments here. Individuals like you, individuals like Alonzo, you guys have very successfully, and I've shared that. I experienced that. I was told, yeah, I don't. I took an AKA to Applebee's, so I tried to, and she wasn't happy with it. She told me she doesn't see that change. So this is not new, but I think what people need to know is that, as you said, this is spreading. This is reaching a level of insanity now, and yeah, I think it's helpful to have individuals like yourself who have successfully paired to get commentary on this.
Yep. Appreciate it. Yeah, because I mean, like you're right. It is getting insane.
And now that they these ladies made this list, I guess, assuming that's real. When that's not a skit, yeah, that's a real thing. So then it gets to the question of what's the most important thing? Are you trying to get to know somebody, or do you just want the experience of being wined and dined and taken to a non-chain establishment? What's the most important thing today? Is it just your instant gratification, or is it something long lasting? And you do not care about that. Well, you not care about that until you get into your 40s and 50s. So it's crazy.
Yeah.
But I know you're trying to finish up. I need to get to work here, so I just want to come up and I know you don't like hitting this stuff all the time. I don't either, but you know, it's good that you did, especially with your money focus. Take care.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, to a degree, man. You can't too much get away from it. You know, the talk is the talk, and people walk the walk. But overall, making that decision whether you want to be in that relationship with a person, you know, if you're comfortable with them living a lifestyle like this, always dealing with the money, always have to spend a lot of money to show your love, you're going to be doing that for the rest of the relationship. So sometimes you have to implement standards at the beginning. You know, if it's a point to where you can't go to an Applebee's, you know, and you're paying, I mean, 9 times out of 10, if you ask a woman where she want to go, she's gonna go to the most expensive restaurant. She's not paying. Then that shows, her level of, you know, compassion towards you. But needless to say, man, when it comes down to it, us being a little older, you know, speaking up for what we want and what we want to do, compared to the, newer age generation kids, it's gonna be a struggle. But say the least, everybody's got to find a place, their niche, and go from there. With that being said, shout out to everybody that came through. Once again, we are here and we are gone. Dr. Mark on. Check out Dr. Mark real quick. Flawless Authority.